Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to the ninth standard social studies classes. Dear student, in this class, we are going to deal with another house of a state assembly or state legislature, that is the Legislative Council, the Legislative Council of Karnataka State. My dear pupil, I hope that you understood very well about the construction of legislative assembly and the present number of the legislative assembly of Karnataka state, the qualifications of the members and powers and functions of legislative assembly. These were the points what we discussed in the last class. I hope that you understood very well about these things. And today we are going to deal with another concept or the another house of Karnataka state legislature, that is Legislative Council. Legislative Council is also called as the upper house of state legislature of Karnataka. And this Legislative Council is also called as the eldest house of Karnataka state. But in pupil, as I told earlier classes, many of the states in India do not have legislative council in their states. But only few states are having legislative council or upper house in their states. Let us know more detail about the legislative council in this class. My dear student, like parliament, how the parliament is having the two houses in central government like Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Meanwhile, in the state of Karnataka, the state legislature is also having legislative council and legislative assembly. Yesterday, we came to know about the legislative assembly. The total number of legislative assembly of Karnataka is 225. Among them, 224 are directly elected by the people through adult franchise. The remaining one candidate, Anglo-Indian, is nominated by the governor of the state. Total 225. And today we are going to deal with the upper house of Karnataka state. My dear pupil, the upper house of the state legislature is also called as the Legislative Council or Vidhana Parishad in Kannada. The strength of this house is 1/3. How much? The strength of the house is 1/3 of the state legislative assembly. My dear pupil, you must observe the total strength of legislative council must be 1/3 of a legislative assembly of the particular state. Got it? So here, since we are discussing about the Karnataka State Legislative Council, see, the total number of legislative council is how it is being calculated. Let us know. As we discussed, the total number of legislative council must be 1/3 of the ratio of a legislative assembly. Our Karnataka legislative assembly's total strength is 225. See, when we divide this by 3, yes, it becomes 75. Got it? Hence, the present number of member of legislative council of Karnataka state legislature is 75. How much? 75. The maximum number of state Karnataka state legislative council or Vidhana Parishad strength is 75 members. Dear student, the number of legislative council of the particular state must be 1/3 of the particular state's legislative assembly. Hence, our Karnataka strength is 225. Our Karnataka legislative assembly strength is 225. When we divide by 3, yes, 75 member will be the legislative council's strength. Got it? Then the strength of a legislative council of the house is 1/3 of the legislative assembly of the state. However, it should not be less than 40. Yes, listen carefully. However, it should not be less than 40. 40 is like I will include. Isn't it? It should not be less than 40. So for this reason, many of the states do not have legislative council or Vidhana Parishad. That is very important. Got it? So it should not be less than 40. Hence, for this reason, many of the states in India do not have legislative council. You must know about those things. Got it? Then, so legislative council is also called as the House of Elder. House of Elder. The number of member of Karnataka legislative assembly is 75. How much? 75 number at present. These members, let us say how these members are being elected. Do you have any idea about that? Yes, let us know. My dear Kapil, in the last class, while we were discussing about the parliamentary house, or the two houses of the parliament, when we were discussing about Rajya Sabha, isn't it? How Rajya Sabha strength are calculated, or how Rajya Sabha members are elected. Likewise, Rajya Sabha can also be compared to Vidhana Parishad in the states. In the same sense, these 75 members are represented. These 75 members represent the 5 areas. 5 areas. You must know, some are elected from among the members of the state legislative assembly. One is completed. Dear student, these 75 members represent 5 areas. These 75 members are being elected by the various fields, like 5 fields, who are very expert in that field. So which are the 5 fields? The first field is from legislative assembly of the state. Got it? And then local self-government or local self-bodies. Second one. Got it? And the third one is graduate constituencies. What is that? Graduate constituencies. And the fourth one is teachers constituencies. Fourth one is teachers constituencies. So these are the and then remaining one, the fifth one is the governor nominates some members who are experts in the field of art, literature, education, social service and science. Dear student, you must know, you must observe one thing. Listen carefully. These 75 members represent from the 5 field, that is one is state assembly, the second one is self-government or local self-government, the third one is graduate constituencies or Padavidara Kshetra, and the fourth one is graduate teachers constituencies, Padavidara Shikshaka Kshetra, and the fifth one and last one is represent from who are an expert in various fields like art, literature, sports, education, social work, and from the field of science and technology. These are nominated by governor. Got it? So these are the 5 field. These are 5 field represent this 75 member. Got it? Then the legislative council is a permanent body. As I mentioned, this legislative council is permanent body. This cannot be dissolved like Lok Sabha or Vidhana Sabha or legislative assembly. Got it? So these are the 5 fields of this represent. Then, if you want to know more about a Vidhana Parishad or legislative council, let us see what qualification must have to be a member of legislative council. My dear student, first qualification is he should be a citizen of India. He should be a citizen of India. That is the first quality and qualification. And the second thing is should have completed 30 years. How much? 30 years of his age. He must have completed 30 years of age. And then should possess all qualifications as required for an MLA. MLA ಅಥವಾ ವಿಧಾನ ಸಭಾ ಸದಸ್ಯರಿಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅರ್ಹತೆಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೊಂದಿರಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Got it? My dear student, along with that, should have possessed all the qualifications as required for an MLA. Along with that, must be citizen of India and he must have crossed 30 years of age. So these are the qualifications of member of legislative council. And then what is the term of office of Vidhana Parishad? Let us see. The term of office of Vidhana Parishad. Term of office. My dear student, in the last class where we were discussing about legislative assembly, the term of office of legislative assembly must be 5 years. Got it? But whereas the term of office of legislative council is 6 years. How much? 6 years. Every 2 years of the member of legislative council retire. Listen, every 2 years the member of legislative council will retire every 2 years, and within the 6 month, the vacant post will be filled through the election again. So again, within the 6 months, the vacant post will be filled again. The decorum will be the full, and the total strength will be 75 within 6 months after the election. Got it? Hence, this house is called as, this legislative council is called as a permanent house. Dear student, if 5 or 6 members are retired, in every 2 years, the 6 seats will be vacant. Got it? And the vacant post will be filled through the election within the 6 months. Again, since the vacant post elected through the election, again the strength will be 75. So that is why, only for this reason, this house will not be empty for long time. Hence, this house is called as the permanent house. And then, the speaker and the deputy speaker of this house, chosen from among the members of legislative council, like legislative assembly. Speaker and deputy speaker of the legislative council will be chosen among the members of elected members of legislative council within the house. Got it? The speaker, what is the role of the speaker after he elected? Yes, the speaker assumes chairmanship during the proceedings of the legislative council or the house, and ensures the dignity and decorum of the house. He completely ensures and maintains the dignity of the decorum of the house. So this is the election process of a speaker of legislative council and the construction of legislative council. And then let us see what are the powers and functions of legislative council. Powers and functions of legislative council. Dear student, I hope that you are getting my point. Let us see the powers and functions. Powers and functions of legislative council or Vidhana Parishad. See, what are the powers and functions of Vidhana Parishad or legislative council? See, dear student, in the last class while we were discussing about the powers and functions of legislative assembly, in that title we discussed many powers and functions of legislative assembly. Among them, legislative powers of the assembly and administrative powers of the assembly and executive powers of the assembly, and then other powers of the assembly. Now we are going to deal with the another concept, that is powers and functions of legislative council. Let us see. Dear student, we can also compare the powers and functions of legislative council with the powers and functions of Rajya Sabha in the parliament. Got it? You must correlate like that. Got it? Let us see. The first power is, what is the first power? Yes, the first power is legislative power of legislative council. Legislative powers. Legislative powers of legislative council. The first power, legislative power. See, all bills may be presented in both the houses except financial bill or money bill. Dear student, I mentioned in the last class that financial bill must be presented firstly in the legislative assembly. Soon after that, it would be transferred to legislative council for 14 days. Isn't it? Except financial bill, all the bills are having freedom to present both the houses, either legislative assembly or legislative council, but except financial or money bill, which is presented first only in the legislative assembly. And there are many powers of legislative council, but we can say that legislative council is not having greater power than legislative assembly. So what we can say, that we can conclude, dear student, that legislative assembly is having greater power than legislative council. Got it? So here let us say, even though council has many powers, then the thing is, after the bill is approved by one house, it is sent to the other house for the approval. And then the legislative council can withhold a bill for 3 months. How many days can be withheld a bill? Yes, it can be withheld up to 3 months. Got it? However, when the same bill is sent by the legislative assembly for the second time, the council should approve it within 1 month. Dear student, listen carefully. If the bill is not approved by the legislative council, which is sent by the assembly, it can be withheld up to 3 months. But again, the same bill is sent by legislative assembly to the council for the second time, then the council must approve that bill within 1 month. If it is not written within 14 days, or if it is not written within the month, then the assembly will consider that the council had approved that bill. So this is the consideration. So assembly is having greater power than council. Then it does not do it so. It will be understood that both the houses have approved the bill and it will be sent to the governor for the assent. See, this is the process and the powers of legislative council. Then the second thing is financial power. My dear student, we can say directly that in the matter of finance, council does not have power. Let us see what financial power that our council is having. The second thing is financial power. Financial powers of legislative council. See, dear student, legislative assembly is having greater power than the council in the state assembly. Got it? In the matter of finance. See, the legislative assembly has greater power over finance than the council, which can be withheld a finance bill for 14 days. Yes, I told you the financial bill can be withheld up to 14 days by legislative council. But after 14 days, if it is not returned to the assembly, it is understood that the council will approve that bill. After that, the bill will be sent to the government for the assent. But then, if it does not return the bill after 14 days, it is understood that the bill, both the houses have approved the bill and it is sent to the governor for the approval. So this is the only power that our council is having over finance. So we can directly say that the council does not have any power on financial bill or over money bill. And the next power or function of legislative council is, that is, administrative power. The third power is administrative. Administrative powers. Administrative powers of legislative council. Dear students, the administrative powers of the Council of Karnataka State. Let us see what kind of administrative power that our council is having. The legislative council does not have much control over the administration. Yes, dear student, as I told, legislative assembly is having greater power than the council in the state. Likewise, in all the matter, I am telling all the matter. In the administrative matter, council does not have any great power. When we compare the power of assembly, it has little power. It can obtain information by posing questions to the ministers. See, the council member can only get the answer by asking question to the ministers in the assembly. This is the only power. I repeat once again, the member of council, the member of legislative councils can only ask the questions and get answer from the ministers. And if the question are not answered properly from the ministers, it can only insist on the ministers' resignation but cannot move a no confidence motion. Dear student, if the members of council asks any questions to the ministers in the assembly or in the house, if the ministers will not answer properly to the question of the members of the council, then the council's the council's minister can only can only can only ask them to resignation, can only ask the ministers to resignation who do not answer properly, but cannot make any move a no confidence motion. These members can only ask resignation but cannot move a no confidence motion in the house. So that is why these members are having only power to ask the question and ask the resignation. But the greater power is vested in assembly, the state. And then discretionary power, vivechana adhikara. See what kind of discretionary power that the council's member are having. Dear student, the legislative council carries on debates, serious debates about the government's policies, programs, decisions and acts. Discretionary powers of a legislative council will always be like this. The legislative council can have conducted some kind of debates in the house on government policies, programs, acts and decisions. As this is the House of Elders, as I told, legislative council is also called as the House of Elder. The debates and the discussion will be carried on a very serious manner. Got it? So this is about the discretionary power of a legislative council. The next thing is state executive. What is that? State executive. Dear students, let us know about the state executive. State executive is Rajya Karyala. Dear student, while we were discussing about union government, then we came to know that the president will always be the head of union executive, whereas here the governor of the state will always be the head of state executive. Here we can compare the powers and functions of our governor with the powers and functions of the president in the union. So let us know about the governor and the state executive. The state executive comprises the governor, chief ministers and the council of ministers. Especially we can also call that the cabinet. Whereas while we were discussing about the union legislature, yes, the union executive is comprising of the president, prime minister and his council of ministers. Whereas in the state executive comprises of governor, chief minister and his cabinet. Got it? Though the governor is the constitutional head of the state, the council of ministers with the chief minister as its head is the real executive authority in the state. My dear student, though the governor is the constitutional head and the head of executive of the state, but the council of minister, which is headed by the chief minister and his cabinet, will be the real executive in the state. Whereas in the central government, though the president is the constitutional head of the union government, the council of ministers and cabinet headed by the prime minister will carry the real executive in the union government. Got it? So here state government comprises of chief minister and his council of ministers. Here the real power is existed in the cabinet, which is headed by the chief minister in the state. The governor can exercise his authority either directly or through his appointed officials. Got it? So this is the state executive. Now, when we are going to know more detail about the governor, let us see. The governor will always be like the constitutional head in the state. Let us know governor. Let us know detail about governor. He is also chief of executive. The president nominates. Who nominates the governor? Yes, the governor will be nominated by the president of the country. The governor on the recommendation, see, only the recommendation of the prime minister and his cabinet. Dear student, the president nominates the governor to all the states on the recommendation of the prime minister and his cabinet ministers. Every state is required to have a governor. Dear student, according to the constitution, it says that every state must have governor. But however, sometimes 2 or 3 states can have a single governor in the states. Got it? According to the constitution, says that every state must have governor. However, sometimes 2 or 3 states can have a single governor. Now let us know the qualifications of the governor. See, what are the qualifications are very essential to be the governor of the state. The first qualification is he should be a citizen of India. What is that? He should be a citizen of India. The second thing is should not be less than 35 years of age. How much? 35 years of age. He should not be less than 35 years of age. Means he should have crossed 35 years of age. Should not hold any kind of office of profit under the government. And then he should not be a minister of either parliament or state legislature. Very important. The governor should not be a member of either parliament or state legislature. If he is a member of either, he should resign first from the post when he is appointed as the governor. Yes, student, if he is a member of either houses of the parliament or the state legislature, he should give resignation first from the post when he is appointed as the governor of the state. What is the governor? See, what are the terms and facilities of the governor? Let us see. Dear student, the term of office of the governor will be 5 years. How much? 5 years. 5 years. Got it? And then, however, he continues to occupy the post even after the completion of this term till a successor is appointed. Dear student, the governor, he may continue his power after the 5 years of his period until his successor appointed. Got it? And then the president may recall the governor on the recommendation of the Union Council of Ministers before the expiry of his term. Dear student, before the expiry of his 5 years of term, the president may recall from his post on the recommendation of the Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers. Then the governor receives a salary and allocations or allowance or facilities as fixed by the Parliament, and he resides at the official residence in Karnataka, that is called as Raja Bhavan. Raja Bhavan, which is existed in Bengaluru, is the official residence of the governor. Then his actions cannot be questioned, nor can he be prosecuted in the court of any law. Got it? So these are the terms of salary and facilities of the governor. And now see what are the powers and functions of the governor. Which are that? Powers of the governor. Powers of the governor. Dear students, I hope that you are familiar with the present governor, the name of present governor of Karnataka state. Yes, who is the present governor of Karnataka state? Who is that? Yes, make it note. Got it? Try to know it. Dear student, let us see the powers and functions of a governor. Legally, all the executive powers of the state belong to the governor in the state. Legally, all the executive powers of the state belong to the governor. And all the assets of the state will always be on the name of a governor of the state. However, the chief minister and his council of ministers exercise these powers actually. See, the actual power of exercising is having the chief ministers and his council of ministers in the state. Got it? And the executive power is the first one. See, what is the executive power of the governor? Let us see. See, the governor is the executive head and appoints the ministers on the advice or the recommendation of the chief ministers. The first power of a governor is he appoints the ministers and he appoints the other ministers on the recommendation of the chief ministers. He also appoints the chairperson or chairman of a state public service commission and the vice chancellors for all the universities of the state, and in the state and other highest officials will be appointed by the governor. So this is the executive power of the governor of the state. And the legislative power of the governor. Dear student, when we come to the legislative power of the governor has the power to summon or postpone or dissolve the assembly in the state on the advice of the chief minister. Dear student, when we come to the legislative power of the governor, he is having the power to summon the session or the postpone the session or dissolve the complete assembly in the state on the advice or the recommendation of the chief minister. And the second legislative power of the governor is he also has the power to nominate one person. Yes, as I told, our governor is having the power to nominate one Anglo-Indian to the legislative assembly and 12 members to the legislative council. How many members? 12 members to the legislative council. Then he may approve or withhold a bill approved by the legislature. He may approve or withhold a bill which is approved by the both the houses of the state legislature for a while. If needed, he can forward a bill to the president for the approval. Got it? So this is the legislative power of a government. And then financial power of the government. Dear student, when we come to the financial power of the government is, the first thing is, the financial bill cannot be presented in the legislative assembly without the permission of the governor in the assembly. Dear student, the financial bill or budget cannot be presented in the legislative assembly without the permission of the governor in the state legislature. That is the permission is very important of the governor to the financial minister to present the financial bill in the assembly. And then second thing is, the governor has the power to appoint the State Finance Commission and Planning Commission. The governor is having the power to appoint the State Finance Commission and Planning Commission. The State Emergencies Fund is in the name of the governor, and fund is in his name, and funds are taken out from it to deal with the emergency situation like a drought, floods, earthquake, and any medical emergencies. Got it? So these are the financial powers of the governor. And judicial powers of the governor. See, what kind of judicial power that governor is having? The governor has the power to pardon those who have been convicted and reduce or postpone or change the punishment given to the criminals. Very important power. And he is also having the power to appoint the State Advocate General and District Judges. State Advocate General and District Judges. And discretionary powers of the governor. See what kind of discretionary powers of the governor that he is having. The governor uses his discretionary powers while appointing the chief minister of the state when there is no clear majority in the general election. The governor uses his discretionary powers while appointing the chief minister of the state when there is no clear majority in the public election. He may also withhold the bill passed by the legislature and send it to the president. Next thing is recommend to the president to declare emergency in the state. The student, discretionary power, very important. He can also have the power to recommend to the president to declare emergency in the state. And then he can also have the power, he is also having the power to dismiss the cabinet or dissolve the legislative assembly in the state. So these are the powers of the governor. And the next thing is the chief minister. The student, the chief minister is the okay, my dear students, I hope that you understood very well about the things what we have discussed till now. The remaining things which are the council of ministers of the state and the chief ministers and the functions and powers of the chief ministers and council of ministers. These remaining points will be discussed in the next class. Then I hope that you understood very well the things. Thank you very much. Read well, study well, and practice well. Thank you.